Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A very good morning to all of you and to our invited guest, Mr. Ervad Adil Antia.
Thank you.
Who is the representative of the Zoroastrian community in Singapore. Now I'll just present a brief biodata about our speaker for today. So he has lived in Singapore for almost over 20 years, and he has his profession is an IT. Then he has served in many countries, like if we say here in sales and markets for APAC and Middle East, and he focused in the Finnish, consumer goods, life science, retail, travel, infrastructure, and transportation, communications, and high technology industries, and conducted many business works like in the United States, Asia, Pacific, and the Middle East. So what I can see here, beside being a priest serving to the Zoroastrian community in Singapore, so we are dealing with very well-known and professionalist in IT information technology who has served the community in Singapore, especially and outside Singapore in general. So now, how perhaps I can mention that our speaker for today was introduced to me by Mr. Hoshi Dibo, who is a council member of the Farsi Zoroastrian Association in Singapore. And that we know that when I look at briefly how this association is working in Singapore, and when I mentioned to him that we'd like to have a representative from your community to share a knowledge about Zoroastrianism with our students, and without any hesitation, he mentioned to me that we have a very young, energetic, and dedicated priest, and introduced me to Ervad Adil Antia. So with that, I would like to call upon our invited speaker to start the presentation. So now the presentation will be, we are going to listen until the end of the presentation. Then we are going to welcome questions and comments from the students. Please, Mr. Adil, you can start.
Thank you, Fatmir. Thank you, Mr. Fatmir. Really appreciate your introduction, and good morning, Salamat Pagi, to meet every one of you who is on the call or who will be joining as well. In fact, I have been in Malaysia when I was working. I was in Penang for 1 year. I was working in Kuala Lumpur for quite a long period of time as well during my last 20 years in Singapore. So I know Malaysia very, very well. But how I'm going to do this presentation today is, or talk today is, I will start talking in the start, and then, after talking, I know everybody of you might get a little bored and a little tired. And then the end, I will have some nice slides to present to you, showcase some pictures, showcase some food items, showcase some ceremony items from the Zoroastrian community, and some of the Parsis, notable Parsis in Singapore. So we will end up on that note. So I would quickly then first, start off with Zoroastrianism first, like the history of Zoroastrian, right? Now, Zoroastrian religion history is that it is one of the most ancient religions, and it was born in Iranian homelands, right? So, and it was started by Prophet Zarathustra, right, or Zoroaster, as he was called in Greek literature. And this I'm talking about something like 1700 BC, right? It was long time year ago, when all the when it was thousands of years ago in those Iranian empires. So today what we have is globally we would have around I would say about more than 100,000, around 200,000 people, Zoroastrian people globally. So it's not very big; it's quite small. Most of them would be in India, Iran. Then there would be people in US, Canada. We have around 300 families in Singapore as well. And there are small pockets which are in Europe, Pakistan, Africa, Australia, depending upon where people have settled in, right? So so it depends upon that. Now, talking about just to understand the Zoroastrian religion, as I was mentioned to you, it is one of the oldest religion in the world. It was started by Prophet Zarathustra, uh, who belonged to Mazdiani belief system, right? Uh, and what we do is we worship Almighty God, the sole creator of the all creations, uh, and uh, and hence it is referred as Mazdiani, the worshippers of Mazda, right? Ahura Mazda is the god whom we worship. Zoroastrians. Another key thing to note about Zoroastrians is Zoroastrians are also referred to as Parsis, right? Uh, and and some of the key highlights I would like to talk about it today uh, is how do we worship it, right? So fire is regarded as one of the living embodiment or creatures of Aura Mazda in this world, right? So we worship Aura Mazda through fire. So we have fire which keeps on burning 24 by 7, 365 days in our fire temples. So that's one of the distinct part of our religion. Now, when we also entered India hundreds of thousands of years ago, we had this sacred fire which was burning all the time, moved from Iran to India, and we landed on the west coast of India. Now it's called the place is called Udwada in Gujarat. It's on the west, and that's where the holy fire from Iran was brought into India, and the fire temple out there, or the big fire temple out there, is called Iran Shah. Uh, and there are other fire temples which are from that big fire temple, which the fire has come from that big fire temple. Those are known as Agyaris or Atash Beram in India. Uh, so that's a little bit about the history, right? In Zoroastrianism. Uh, as I was telling you, we have spread throughout the world, 70, 80,000 in India, 30, 40,000 in Iran, 20 plus thousand in maybe North America, 5,000 in Europe, and Dubai, Middle East, Pakistan, Hong Kong, wherever it may be, right? So there are followers of the religion, there are followers of Zoroastrian religion globally, though it may not be very, very big. And one background about Zoroastrian, it's a peace loving. We are very peace loving people. Uh, Basically, the essentials teaching is what all other religions also teach: is selfless, basic ethical teachings, good thoughts, good words, good deeds. So in our language or prayers, we call it Humakta Hukta Huvarashtra, which is nothing but the teachings of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. So that those are some of the key marks, or the key words which we uh, which we believe in. Uh, other thing, maybe to talk about when I'm talking about the background, the history. Uh, uh, what I wanted to talk about is basically maybe a concept of God, right? Aura Mazda, whom we worship to. Aura Mazda is the God, one supreme divine power, force, whatever you call it, that's who's present everywhere. Uh, uh, it's like omnipresent, right? Today in technology or IT world, we call it omni-channel, where we can use web, mobile, TV, or we can go through uh, different channels. So it's called omni-channel. What I would say is omnipresent, is present everywhere, right? The divine power or the Supreme Lord. Uh, now in different religions, you would call it, you would give different names. Like in Hindu, they call the god Ishwar or the Lord. In in Islam, you would call it Allah. In Muslim, we call it Allah, the sole God, right? Uh, uh, then in Christians, they call him God. So we call Aura Mazda as our God. So it's like that. So so and Aura Mazda, when we worship in our prayers, we have 101 names of Aura Mazda. So in fact, when our prayer book, I will show you the picture later on of our prayer book, Horde Avastha. The first topic, or the first pages of when we start that book, is nothing but 101 names of the Aura Mazda. So people, when they pray, they would generally start praying with the 101 names, chanting the 101 names of Aura Mazda. So uh, yeah, so that's a little bit about Aura Mazda. Uh, uh, and 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 the next one maybe would be about talking about Prophet Zarathustra, right? So Aura Mazda is the god, and Zarathustra was a prophet, and that's why the religion is named Zoroastrianism. So maybe talking a little bit about the Prophet Zarathustra. Uh, 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 basically, uh, how do I say? The term prophet itself means that he is he was divinely inspired. He was like a guru. He was like the teacher. He was bringing message of the religion. That basically what we would say, the interface from the God uh, who instructs common man like us on a day-to-day life, uh, who has a higher soul, spiritual beings, right? So he was one of he was the prophet. And this I'm talking about, again, talking about BCs, right? So this was like 6500 BC, and long time ago. So so yeah. uh, if we talk about where he was born, Zarathustra, he was born in Iran. Now, exactly, I think it somewhere in the northwestern part of Iran. Of course, I really don't know where the name of the place, but maybe some people say that it was the west of Iran, Azerbaijan, or Shiz, or so uh, lot of so that's where the religion started, right? From Iran, long time ago. Uh, now now when we as I was mentioning, Aura Mazda is the god, Zarathustra is the prophet. Those are the two key things about the basic understanding which we would need to have, right? uh, now the now there are various teachings of they've been having, we've been having, right? What is the role of the man in the universe, the concept, the human being, the concept, basically the evil versus the good, right? And uh, and uh, and uh, and that's one of the things which I wanted to talk about. So 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 a man has a good part of virtue, and sometimes even the bad part, or the evil part, as we call it, right? So so there are so in this world, to safeguard from the various types of evils, there is the spiritual thing. The human body is considered sacred by Zoroastrian religion, and the duty of each person is to keep it pure. And the purity is not only just from the physical perspective, it also encompasses to your thinking. It also encompasses to your how it will touch the spiritual world of the man in his day-to-day life. Right? Uh, so that's one of the concepts, one of the teachings which we have from from what we call the composition perspective, right? Uh, when okay, now when we talk about the Zoroastrianism, uh, we are talking about teachings of around few things: monotheism, two spirits, divine beings, souls, creations. Those are some of the teachings which we talk about, right? Uh, uh, so in order, like the Spentamenu, so we call Spentamenu, right? Spentamenu is basically the spirit which was to assist the possession of the creatures, the first spiritual, basically the good spirit, right? And the Angra Menu is we call as a bad or the evil spirit which came into existence, right? Angra means like angry, angry also, right? So these are the two cosmology, the you know the things which you would say. And other other main religious teachings are belief in the god of Aura Mazda. It's basically uh, was the first monotheism religion that was created, uh, uh, and and uh, and uh, and when we say the spiritual world in the creations of the Aura Mazda, the spiritual world, he created Amashpantadas, Yazaras, Ravanas, and Farvarish. Now, Amashpantadas basically are the beneficent immortal souls through Aura Mazda, who was created, uh, and they have spiritual powers, virtues, uh, as well as the human spiritual centers, right? While Yazadas is a term used for worship of the spiritual beings, like they could be considered as the co-workers of Ameshwar Spentidas, the creations like sun, moon, stars, earth, uh, those. Uh, Ravanas and Farvarish are the guardian spirits. Uh, so, so, so as I was mentioning, the two spirits or forces after Aura Mazda created Pentamenu, the Angre Menu, the evil spirit was created through the law of polarity, right? So those are the two spirits of the cosmic forces or the universe, uh, of the universe, right? Uh, um, so also what we believe is immortality of the soul after death. So recognition of the spiritual elements within the self or in the universe are necessary for knowledge and evaluation of the self. uh, the death is seen as a transformation and not the total destruction. If the passing away of a life giving a spiritual element of the body leads to decomposition. The the it's basically that every person has spiritual comments. One of them, which is the soul, which is the immortal lives, the physical body after its destruction and death. Right. So this is some of the background or some of the the history, I would say, on the concept on of the religion, right? Now, this I know this can be a little bit heavy. What we could do is we'll move into a more lighter stuff. What will I talk about is now the rituals, right? Uh, Basically, from Zoroastrianism, we have several rituals, right? So when we enter Zoroastrianism, it is called as a Navjot ritual. Navjot, Navgot. If you can Google, you will see that. So basically, the Navjot ritual is basically performed for a Zoroastrian, Parsi Zoroastrian children, right? It will be for both boys and girls. Uh, Say between the age 7 to 9, they will have their Navjot done. And as part of Navjot ceremony, what you do is that basically you will have a sacred, a cotton shirt like called sadra, and there will be a thread which would be tied around, which will be called kasti. So sadra and kasti are the two two sacred things, right? And then you do the sadra and kasti prayers every day, right? In fact, you have to do 5 times a day in different gatas, different gays, right? Now, so basically, see, so Navjot is one of the key ceremonies which happens, or the key rituals which happen for a young boy and a girl to get them into a Zoroastrian religion, right? Now, after that's one of the key rituals, right? Uh, then the Kasti ritual, as I was telling you, the Sadra Kasti ritual, like, because we think we believe that uh, uh, doing this ritual will be protecting us from all the negativity, all the evil, and will also cleanse ourselves, right? So it has to be done. This Kasti ritual has to be done, which after the Navjot is done, the Sadra Kasti ritual has to be done by every Zoroastrian individual, right? And there are prayers which we pray during this Kasti ceremony, or a Kasti ritual, right? Uh, uh, and of course, it's a short prayer. It's not very long prayer. It's a very short prayer. So that's when we do that. Uh, other there are several other uh, rituals as well, right? Now marriage. So we talked about a person getting into a religion. Now we can talk about marriage. But before marriage, I just wanted to maybe talk about, there's another ritual which happens only for a certain people. Like, for example, me, when I became a priest. So that's called Navar and Martab rituals, right? Now, now, basically, what happens is, if the child is born in a priestly family, then you can do this ritual called Navar, uh, and then in front of the child's name or the person's name, it will be Edward. So Edward is that he is a priest in the religion, right? Otherwise, generally, you would call the others, we would call them Bedin or Osta, but Edward is separate. It's like only for people who have done. It's not necessary that if you're born in a priestly family, you are inherited Edward. No, it's not like that. What is it is basically when you go through the Nawar and Martab rituals, or that ceremonies, then you get that priestly stage called Edward, right? So that's one thing which happens. Uh, when a boy, it generally it's only for men, turning to priest around the age of 12 to 15, uh, when the young boys turn into the priest, right? So that's Nawar and Marta. Now, and for that, I have done that. So I had to stay in a fire temple for, I remember I was very young. I was like 11 years old that time. We had to take off from school, and we had to stay in a fire temple for 31 days or something before. So we have to pure ourselves. So we had to stay in the fire temple for 31 days, uh, uh, we cannot eat after sunset. So we had to make sure that we finish our dinners before the sunset, uh, and had to stay in the fire temple before we did this ritual. Like after 30 days, then you go through a ritual and then become a priest. So there are a lot of rituals in this Navar and Marta. Now, the next step maybe is the marriage customs, right? So uh, basically, when two people get married, there is we call it as an Ashirwad ceremony. So basically, the priest will uh, uh, how do I put it? Ashirwad means blessings. So priest will pray pray some verses and do the blessings for the married couple. So that's a ceremony which happens, or a ritual which happens at the time of marriage. So that's the marriage ritual, right? Now, uh, before the marriage, if the boy or the girl is not from the priestly family, a boy, especially a boy who is not a dastur, like a priest, then you have to do a Nan ceremony. Nan, this word comes from Sanskrit. It's basically it's like bathing, but it's not bathing like literally bathing. It's like bathing with the prayers, right? You basically have uh, basically there are some prayers which are to be done, and there are some rituals which require uh, 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 a few pomegranate leaves, some metallic ball, white handkerchief, milk, taro. Now taro is something very people would not know. So taro is it's basically uh, from the actually from the cow's urine, which is spotless, which is totally white cow, right? And we worship that, and we just have to touch, have not to drink it, but sip it during the Nan ceremony. So that's something very unique, which happens along with the prayers. And of course, then there is this pomegranate leaves. There is uh, the white handkerchief which the person who is praying holds it in the hand. So there is it's a basically a ritual. So it's called a Nan ritual. Then then there are other rituals such as jashans which happen. Jashans is I will show you the picture later on. So jashans is basically when the priest prays, and basically uh, uh, um, it's a recitation of certain prayers. For it can be done for a community, it can be done for a family, it can be done for a person. Uh, but it's like Jashan is, you can say, like a Thanksgiving prayer, right? It is basically done on auspicious occasions, like it could be someone's birthday or housewarming, or it could be some festival or something like that, right? Uh, then there are other prayers which are also done, which could be on, for example, let's talk about maybe say during the, if someone dies, right? Rituals during the death. There are prayers during that time also. So of course there is first there is what we call it as a paidas, right? Paidas is nothing but uh, we take the corpse, or we take the body to a dakma, uh, uh, where basically the priest follows with handkerchief hold in the hand. Two priests will walk ahead with the handkerchief hold in the hand, and then the rest of the families will walk in pairs. Means two at a time. To the dakma. Dakma is where we put and the tower of silence where we put the body, right? Then there are other prayers which happen called Saroshno Patru, uh, Uthamna. Basically over 3 or 4 days since after a person passes away. So there are continuous prayers going on for his soul, to get into the other world. So that those prayers happen over 3 to 4 days, and then finally on the fourth day, I think the morning of the fourth day or the night, it's called the night Uthamna, where they do the prayers, and that's basically where the soul has reached the other world, which that's how we perceive or how we think. So yes, there are rituals, there are prayers which happen at during the death ceremony as well, and it goes on for 4 days. Yeah. Now, now let's talk about maybe um, what else? Yeah, boy is one of the other rituals, right? So boy. Well, when we say boy, uh, uh, how do I put it? So basically, we have a fire temple, and we have a fire which is burning 24/7, right? And in simple words, we all need fuel to or food to stay alive, right? We all eat maybe breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? Maybe every day, right? So just like the god, for we also have a sacred fire which also requires the fuel, right, to burn. So we have this boy which is performed 5 times a day, right? So why 5 times a day? Because we have 5 gays, right? So we have Havan gay, which is formed like morning when the sun rises to 12:49, 12:40 p.m. Then we have Rapidwan gay, which is like from 12:40 to 3:40. Then we have Ujiran, which is from 3:40 to sunset. Then from sunset to midnight, 12 o'clock, we have Evishutramge. And then from 12 o'clock midnight to when the sun rises, we have Ushenge, right? So those are the 5 gays which we have in a day, right? So five different. So when we do a boy in every fire temple, whether it's Atash Beram or Atash Adaran or Dadga, right? We do boy. We perform the ritual to put the sandalwood in the fire. So that's called a boy ritual. And then of course there is prayers around it, right? We pray Atashinash. Atashinash is basically the prayer for the fire. So we pray that during the boy, which is done every single day in all the Atash Berams, all the fire temples, 5 times a day, right? So that's one of the very very important ritual which happens. Uh, and oh, what else? So from maybe the next after rituals, let's maybe talk a little bit about the festivals, right? More more which everybody would want to know. What are the Zoroastrian festivals, right? So Zoroastrian festival, we for us, Parsi New Year Day it's in August. It comes in August, right? So we have something called as a Parsi calendar, right? Just like we have this the January, February, March, April, May, June, the English calendar. We call that as an English calendar. We have a similar calendar called a Parsi calendar. Now, this Parsi calendar starts from for us it starts from August, right? So it starts on a day of our new year, which is the Nowruz day, somewhere in August, right? And when it ends, then again the next year it starts in August. So we have it from August to August as a Parsi calendar. Uh, uh, Now, Patiti is the last day of the year, Zoroastrian calendar year, and it falls So basically, after, we also have 12 months, and after the 12 months, we have 5 days called gatas, and the last gata day is termed as pateti, which is in English you would call it as a 31st December or whatever, right? So those are those that is one of the days, right? uh, and basically on that day we basically uh, we want to forgive ourselves, and we want to make sure that we enter the new year fresh, and whatever the not hurt anyone, knowingly, unknowingly, and whatever is basically uh, basically bad, we try to throw it away, or let it go during that last day of it. uh, Muqtad is before we have a new year. Before we have the new year, there are 10 days which we remember all the Farvarish or the guardian angels or the spirits. Basically, we remember our uh, you know people who have passed away, and before the new year. So those 10 days are called as muqtad, and those are called as muqtad prayers, right? So we pray for them, and we believe that the souls are coming to the ground, they're coming down during the last 10 days, and they are blessing us. So we do a prayer for them. uh, for we set up a vase with flowers, and we do prayers for them, and it's called as muqtad prayers. So that's very very important, right? So all the Zoroastrian Parsis will do the muqtad prayers. Some people do it for 1 year, 3 years, depending upon how long they want to do it. My family has been doing my grandfather's prayers, my grandmother's prayers, my father's prayer. We've been doing it for last 20-25 years. The prayers for them, uh, before every new year, and that those are called as muqtad, and it's very very important part of uh, uh, part of the whole, all the rituals, right? It's basically remembering, welcoming the Farvarish, or the and it's the time where we show our love, gratitude towards them. uh, uh, so basically what we are saying is uh, we are celebrating for the living, but we are also we have people who have departed. It is our duties to pray for them, remember them during this muqtad days, and there are special prayers for this during the muqtad days, what we do. uh, and other festival which we would have is Jamshedji Nowroz, right? Jamshedi Nowroz. We call it Jamshedi Nowroz, not Jamshedji, Jamshedi Nowroz. And it's on 21st of March, basically. Uh, and yeah, so I think a lot of people in Iran, in even in Afghanistan, they would be celebrating Nowroz, Jamshedi Nowroz, and so that's one of the festivals we celebrate as well. Khordat Sal is marked as the birthday of Prophet Zarathustra. So that comes in the 6th day of the first month. So our first month is just like in English we call the first month as January. Our first month is called Farvardin, and it is starting somewhere in August. And the 6th day, so we have the names for all the days also, right? We have like all the 31 days that we would have the names for those days. And the day which Zarathustra, Prophet Zarathustra was born, was called Khordad. It was the 6th day of the month Farvardin, and we celebrated as Khordat Sal Mubarak. So Khordat New Year. So it was marked as the birthday of the Prophet Zarathustra. So yeah, so these are some of the key days, or key festivals which we celebrate in Zoroastrianism. Right. Now, maybe let me talk about. So we did the festivals. So maybe why don't I do one thing? Let me share my screen now. If you can, I'm just going to present my screen. So just let me know if you all can see my screen.
Yes, we can see.
You can see the screen?
Yes, yes.
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 Great. So I know I've been talking a lot. So I just wanted to break this little monotony and make it a little bit more interesting by showing some pictures and showing some slides which we have. So it becomes a little bit more interactive. It becomes more interesting, right? So yeah, I was talking about Zoroastrianism earlier, right? That I won't go through that again. But we are basically followers of Zarathustra, and that's why it's called Zoroastrianism. And it's a long time ago, 3,500 years ago. It was founded in Persia and Iran. That time it was called Iran. I mentioned also that it is a monotheistic religion, and we believe in a God, Ahura Mazda, right? So this is Prophet Zarathustra, and we also I also told you all that we call ourselves Parsis, right? So Parsis is a descent from Persian ancestor who arrived in India, right? And yeah. So yeah, let me touch base on this. This is a very interesting story, right? So when we came from Persia to India, since there were religious persecutions out there, and we entered, as I was telling you, we entered on the west coast of India. In actually, that place was called Sanjan, right? When we entered, and now there is a fire temple in that west coast in Udwada, which is the fire which has been burning 365 days, and we call that fire temple Iran Shah, one of the biggest fire temple, the biggest fire temple in India. Now, when we entered India, there is a story behind that, right? So the king at that time in the west of India wouldn't allow us to enter India. They said that, see, my kingdom is already like, full. It's already, we have overflow. There's no place for you all. There's no place for you all in this part of the land, because we are already like stuffed with a lot of people, and how will you mix? First of all, your culture is different, our culture is different. How will you all mix into our culture, etc., and all that? So one of our dasturs, Naryo Sang Dhawal, he said, okay, get me a glass of or a bowl of milk which is full and some sugar on the side. Now he said that this bowl of milk which is full is you and your kingdom, and the sugar on the side is us. And then he just added the sugar into the milk, and then it mixed totally, right? So he said that we will be like the sugar in a milk, like, so we will add sweetness to your land, we will bring in more sweetness to your land, and we will not even overflow. So that's what the king liked, the king Rana, and that's how he allowed the Zoroastrian Parsis to enter India at that particular point of time. So this is a very, very, very famous story uh, where we say we will be like sugar in a milk, or add more sweetness to your community, etc. Is a very, very, very famous story from our side. Yeah. Yeah, so this is something what I was mentioning to you earlier, right? This is more in words, so I won't go into the detail, but yeah, so uh, we in fact adopted the local language called Gujarati. So in fact at home now we speak Gujarati. Even I do speak Gujarati with my parents, and in India when I'm there, uh, women started wearing the local dresses, and and uh, marriages will be only be performed in evenings after sunset. Actually, it's performed in the evenings after sunset, or uh, yeah, or before sunrise. So this, if you could see my screen, this is the place, the Sanjan place where I was saying that where we entered. So this is where. So this is a monument which was set up uh, in India, exactly at the place where we entered India from. It's called Sanjan's tomb. Tomb means the monument. Sanjan is the name of the place. Right. And on the right hand side, basically, we would be very grateful to King Rana for giving the refuge. So that's on the right hand side. Okay, now this is what I was talking about, Iran Shah, right? This is in Udwada, and this is where the fire from Iran came and was first put into India, and this is our biggest, the holiest fire temple uh, in Udwada, and it is called as Iran Shah Fire Temple. So this is the one which I was talking about some time back. That we have a fire temple in Urwada, and it's called Iran Shah. But there are other fire temples also. In fact, in Bombay, we have around 5 to 6 fire temples. We do have a fire temple in Surat. We do have fire temples in Navsari. So there are around 8 fire temples in Atash Perams, which we call the biggest fire temples in India. So these are just some of the pictures from the fire temples in India, which we go regularly to pray, right? And I also mentioned this earlier, that what we follow is the 3 basic things: good thoughts, good words, good deeds, and we call it as Humakta, Hukta, Huvarashta. Uh, those are the 3 key words. So even when we do our Kasti rituals, we do have. Actually, if you see a person doing a Kasti ritual, you will understand. So we actually, we take the Kasti, and we uh, hit it like Humakta, Hukta, Huvarashta. So good thought, good words, good deeds. I did mention this earlier as well about the fire being one of the supreme symbols, and we worship through fire. Uh, and we keep the fire burning 365 days in a year, 24/7, in all the fire temples. And that's why we have this boy prayer to provide the fuel to the fire, which is the sandalwood, every 5 times a day, right? Uh, so yeah, so this is okay. The Farvarish, I was telling you, the guardian angel. So this is a symbol. This is a symbol. I just wanted to show you that how it looks like. So this is a symbol for best known symbol, I would say, for Zoroastrianism. We call it Farvarish, Ashofaror. Generally, all the people will make this type of a symbol and put it in their chains. They'll wear a chain with this symbol. They do that. So this is a this is a symbol. Khorde Avastha was the book I was talking about initially. So basically, it's basically composed in Avastan language, and we pray through this book. As I was telling you, we start off with the 101 names of Avramasta, and then our basic prayers, Ashembo, Athaverio, those are some of our very, very, very basic prayers. But there are lots of other prayers as well, right? So we do Saroj Baj, Gay. So when we do say Gay, it's the time of the day. we do the prayer accordingly. So if it's morning, as I was telling you earlier, we do Havan Ge. If it's afternoon, we do Rapitwan Ge. If it's evening time, Ujiran, then after sunset, Avitritram, and then Ushan Ge, right? So different time of the day, there would be a different Ge. But this is the Khorde Avastha book, right? In fact, on the right-hand side, it's me who is praying. This is the Zoroastrian house in Singapore. This is a Singapore Zoroastrian house. So there are the priests who are praying. We are doing a jashan basically on one of the auspicious days. I think it was a New Year that time. So this photo is from there. So we are doing a jashan, and if you see myself on the right hand side and other priests also, what they are wearing on the head, we are wearing something called pagri. Now, pagri is only given to you after you do your Navar and Martab. Remember, if I was talking to you earlier about the rituals, Navar, Martab. So only priestly families can do that. And after Navar Martab, you get this thing on your head, which is called as pagri. Not everyone can wear it. Only the priest can wear it. And only the priests who have done the Navar can wear it. And of course, the dress which we are wearing is called jama. It's a white dress. We wear padan on the face so that, the spit doesn't get into the fire, or because we are praying, we worship the fire. So that's why we wear a padan on our face, which is covering our mouth. Yeah. So this is a photo from a Jashan ceremony. This is a photo from the Navjot ceremony. Remember, I was telling you all that when the kid is 7 to 9 years old, it enters the Zoroastrianism religion. So this is exactly what we do. This is a Navjot ceremony where a priest is doing it for a little girl. The white thing she's wearing is called sadra, and the thing in the hand is called kasti, which is wrapped around you. So this is what we call as Navjot ceremony, right? One of the most important ceremonies for Zoroastrianism. And then we get the sadra and kasti, and then we do the sadra kasti prayers every day. So then once the child has been into the Zoroastrian religion, then the kasti prayers will start every day. Yeah, a little bit more about sadra and kasti in terms of how it is made up of, how does it look like. So on the top right hand side, you will see a photo of sadra, how it looks. Below is the kasti, what we wrap around as a ritual. It's made up of 72 strands, and it's worn 3 times around, right? Around your body. So we wear this every day, sadra and kasti. Okay, this I didn't talk about earlier, but there is a distinctly very, very different clothings we wear, right? So this is something like a traditional clothing, like every community will have their own traditional clothing, right? So this is something called as our traditional clothing, and it's been there since long time. It is called as gara. So a lot of Parsi ladies will wear this during the Navjot ceremonies or wedding ceremonies on nice, auspicious, good occasions when there are festive occasions. So they'll wear a gara. So this is a very traditional Parsi clothing for ladies. For men, they will generally wear something called dagli or daglo or a feto. Feto is something on the top which they will wear it on the head. Of course, they cannot wear the white one because the white one is only for the priest, that pagri. But this is a different pagri which everybody can wear, not the white one. This you can wear it during the weddings and Navjot ceremonies. And the white thing is called as dagli, and the black one is called as the daglo. Yeah, some accolades from Mahatma Gandhi. Everybody knows Mahatma Gandhi, what he had to say about the Parsis. This is one of my colleagues in Singapore, and we had uh, we had got this book inaugurated, Parsis in Singapore. So this is during the inauguration road. So before I talk about Parsis in Singapore, in this slide, which is not there, is actually the Parsis of India, right? Now, I'm not sure how many of you all have heard about companies like Tata. Tata is one of the big industrialists in India, right? And it has several companies, right, from steel companies to IT, TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, uh, telcos, you know. So Tata was started by a Parsi as well, Jamshedji Tata. Then there is other companies like Godrej, which was also started by a Parsi, Adi Godrej. Then there is currently there is this Poonawalla. They are manufacturing the vaccines in India, and Narendra Modi, who is the Prime Minister of India, has also thanked them for manufacturing the vaccines. So there are very notable Parsi Zoroastrians in India. Globally, uh, uh, Zubin uh, Zubin Mehta, who was the violinist, the musician, he's a Zoroastrian. In fact, even Freddie Mercury, the uh, was a Zoroastrian. So yeah. So Parsis in Singapore, we came here in 1800s when Raffles during the time of Sir Raffles. So it's not been it's been since some time, I would say, when we came to Singapore, right, in 1800s. So in Singapore we do have a road called Parsi Road, and we do also have a road called Mystery Road, which I will get into the details shortly, right? But it is in the prime financial district. It is at Tanjong Pagar. I'm not sure how many of you have been to Singapore, but near Anson Road, Tanjong Pagar, which is a prime CBD area, we have a road called Parsi Road and a Mystery Road, right? Uh, basically how we came in was from the trade perspective, right? Like there was a East India Shipping Company, and there was trade, textiles. We were basically traders, right? Parsi merchants, basically, right? Which came across, and then and that's how we came to Singapore a couple of centuries ago. The one of the first Parsis who came to Singapore was Mr. Mancherji, right? And he was one of the first Parsis in 1800s who came to Singapore. And yeah, so there's some little bit background about the Parsis' arrival in Singapore and and the work we've done, right? I'll skip through this. Yeah, I will come to this. So Mystery Road. So I was talking about Mystery Road, right? So this Mystery Road is after Mr. Navrojji Mistry, right? And his contribution to Singapore, right? Now, why this name is named after him, right? Why this road is named after him, right? The Mystery Road, right? So there is a story. Of course, he was a notable industrialist. He started soda water factory, basically the aerated water factory, soda factory, and all that. But the main contribution to him, his silver lining, was that he distributed $1 million to Singapore General Hospital Children's Ward. Now, the story behind this, it's not mentioned here, but the story behind this goes like this: that once there was this in 1950s or 60s, there was, or maybe it was 40s also. There was this when Japan invaded Singapore, and there was the war going on, right? Maybe the Second World War. And in Singapore General Hospital, he saw little children, lying there, and they didn't have wards, nor did they have the beds and all that. So he asked the doctor, he was just passing by, and he asked the doctor that, why are the children's lying out here? He's saying, what, there is no wards, there is no beds, and there is no donation. So if you give us a donation, then we will set up a ward and beds for the children. So he immediately took out his checkbook and he offered $1 million to them, to the Singapore General Hospital, and then they built a children ward. So that's the story behind the Mystery Road, and in his honor, Singapore government then named a road after him called Mystery Road. So that's a very notable story. Then today also we do have a few key people. PC Chacha, who is a part of the community in Singapore. He's one of a very notified orthopedic surgeon. Dr. Jimmy Daruwala, he passed away a few years back, in fact, 2-3 years back. Father of my very good friend as well. He was an orthopedic surgeon and my doctor as well for my back-related issues. So yeah, and Mr. Rustam Gadiali, who's the ex-PISA's president and a part of the IRO as well. So we do have some notified people. We do have some people who have represented school, colleges, and country. For example, notable one is my friend Zubin Shroff. He was the captain of Singapore cricket team in 90s and early 2000, and I had an honor of playing with him as well. So when I came to Singapore, so there have been a few key people who have represented Singapore. This is how our Zoroastrian Association looks like. Parsi Zoroastrian Association of Southeast Asia and Singapore looks like. It's at Desker Road near Mustafa Center. So we have 2 floors. The below one, generally where the prayers are done, and upstairs is like now we are building a library, not a library, sorry, a museum on top for all the Zoroastrian things, right? It could be garas, it could be history and all that. Talk about so we are building a museum on top. But when we have some social gatherings, events, we use we do have social gatherings, so we use the top floor to mingle around. So important thing I want to mention, this is not a fire temple, okay? So this is no way considered to be a fire temple. There's a lot of misconceptions sometimes happens. A lot of people say that this is a fire temple in Singapore. No, this is not a fire temple in Singapore. A fire temple is something which the fire is burned 365 days, I was mentioning to you earlier, 24/7. It doesn't happen here. So it is not a fire temple. It is a community center, basically. Okay, let's come to some food, right? So on auspicious occasions like when we have a Parsi New Year, we would make save and dai. So save is like a Westmali, like it's like a thin noodles, like in a very in something like maybe bihun or something like that, but very thin, but it's sweet, and it's got dry fruits on top, and it's supposed to be had with dai. Dai is sweet yogurt. Ravo is like I don't know, how do I say it, like firni or something like sweet, made up of and again a lot of dry fruits on it. And on a nice days, on auspicious days, birthdays, New Year's, we'll generally have dal rice and a patio. Patio is like a prawn masala type thing, you could call it. And dhandar is nothing but dal which is yellow dal, and rice. Dal is nothing but pulses, right? So it's dandar and kolmino patio. That's what we call it. So these are some of the foods for the auspicious occasion. During the wedding ceremonies, Navjot ceremonies, we eat on this in India especially. This is from India. The picture. We eat on banana leaf. You see down there is banana leaf, and the typical type of food which we will get is, let's start from the drink, right? So a lot of, like during the, when I was young, we used to have this raspberry soda. So generally people will have that. Then there is paneer, which is the white thing. Then there is sasni machi, is a fish which is made up of sauce. It's made in a different style, right? So it's a fish basically. Chapatis are the like a bread, Indian bread. Saria is like the chips. Atheli margi is like a tandoori. I wouldn't say tandoori chicken, but it's a chicken with some gravy on it, right? And then gajar mewanu achar is like a prickle. It's a prickle. And lagannu custard is basically a custard, and it's called lagannu custard because it's lagan is wedding, so made during the wedding. So that's why it's called lagannu custard. So this is just like a typical Parsi meal for during the Navjot ceremony, during the wedding ceremonies and all, and served on a banana leaf, right? And it's called lagannu patru. Why is it called lagannu patru? Lagan means again wedding, and patru means the banana leaf. So it's called the serving for the wedding. Some other food is dhansak, which is very famous. Again, it's the dal is made up of. We put either mutton or chicken in it, so it can be either mutton dhansak or a chicken dhansak. Patrani machi is a fish with coriander and green chilies paste on it. So that's one of the famous thing, and it is wrapped around in banana leaf and steamed. So that's why it's called patrani machi. Patra is like a leaf. Saliboti is mutton gravy with some sali or chips on top, and akuri is like a egg mixed with some Indian masalas and some coriander and some onion, tomatoes, and green chilies, and it's like a mixed egg, like type of thing. That's what we call as akuri. Yeah, so these are some of the pictures from my friends of our with the ladies dressed in garas, typical garas, and the boys dressed in Dougleys. So yeah, I don't know about it. So that's more or less like it from the presentation perspective. Any questions or?
Yes, thank you very much, Adil. Thank you very much. That is a great presentation that you have
Thanks.
day to day, and it's very informative for our students, as well as we who are teaching. We benefited and we heard many new things today from your presentation. So before we open to the students for the questions, perhaps I can invite Dr. Nu, if you would like to say something. Yeah, please, Dr. Nu.
Thank you, Dr. Fatmir, and thank you very much, Brother Adil, for your presentation. I think this is our first time having a guest from Zoroastrianism to talk to our students. So thank you very much for your willingness and I think preparation to help our student to understand further about Zoroastrianism. As you are fully aware, since you shared with us earlier that you have been to Malaysia and living in Kuala Lumpur as well. So you know that Zoroastrianism is less familiar religion in Malaysia. So this is a good opportunity for our student to enhance their understanding, not only listening from us, the course instructors, but also from someone who is professing the religion and also on top of that, part of the priesthood community of Zoroastrianism. I don't have question, Dr. Fatimir. I just would like to thank Brother Adil, and we hope that our engagement will continue not only today but in future. So thank you once again.
Yeah, sure. In fact,
all...
I can talk more if you all have time. Then I can talk about some more things.
Yeah, we may have more session in future. So I think we will arrange with our colleague because we are teaching this course every academic semester. So we will have more than one opportunity to explain more about the religion. We will plan. So at the moment, I think we'll give the opportunity to our students if they have questions or concern. Please, over to you, Dr. Fatimir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Nu. We appreciate very much your comments, and indeed that is the reality that we have seen. Now we open to the students. Perhaps you can ask questions directly. I think this will be better.
Yeah.
Can you? Yeah, can you? Some of you that have written here, you can write at the same time. It will be better if you ask directly to our guest. Yeah, please. You introduce yourself first, then you ask the question.
Hello sir, I'm Zainal Hamidin. I would like to ask a question. Are there any food that are forbidden in Zoroastrianism?
Sorry, the line wasn't very clear. Can you repeat the question if you don't mind, please?
Zainul.
I think Brother Zainul Abidin also wrote in the chat box.
Maybe could okay.
He wrote the question. So he would like to know on, are there any foods that are forbidden?
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Are there any food which is forbidden?
Yeah.
Actually, when somebody asks me what do you eat, I tell them that I eat anything that crawls. So so generally, some of the Parsis, to be honest, will not eat beef. Some of the Parsis will not eat beef because we worship the cow. As I was telling, that in Udwada also we have this. In fact, we get this cow which is got no black hair on the full body, so it's called full white. It's full white, right? And it's a special cow, and we worship it also. So some of the Parsis will not eat beef. They say that Parsis are not allowed to smoke because it's fire, and we worship fire. So we generally wouldn't want to take the blow the fire from our mouth. So cigarettes especially will be prohibited. But other than that, from fish to whatever non-vegetarian. So Parsis are basically very non-vegetarian meat eaters. They don't like a lot of vegetarian food. They call it gaspus, which is like leaves, and so they are more traditionally non-vegetarian eaters. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Adelia. Other, please.
Okay, another question in the chat box. I think this is from my students. Why Parsis culture are more related to Indian culture, like clothing you mentioned from Brother Irfan?
Right. That's because there are two things, right? So Parsis in Iran today, Zoroastrians in Iran will be very close to Iranian culture. So they will wear clothes very close to Iranians, right? Now, what happened a few hundred years ago was that a lot of Parsis, they came to India, right? So they settled in India. They started speaking their language, and I was talking about that story of sugar and milk, right? So we got embedded into their culture, the Indian culture, and we started talking Indian language. We started eating Indian food. So that's why you see a lot of Parsi culture will be Indian, because by last how many years, like 300, 400 years, people have been staying in India, and have adopted to that culture. So so that it will be Indian culture. Yeah. But what is different from the, so in Indian culture they will also wear saris, and but Parsis traditional saris are karas, as I was mentioning to you. It was embroidered, hand embroidered ones, which are very special. And the Parsi dress is the white dress traditionally for the Navjots or the wedding ceremonies, which we will wear. And of course, the priest will generally wear the white pagri, and then the others can wear the normal black pagri, which is good. Any other questions?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, please.
Good morning.
I'll say yeah, please.
Yeah, I just want to ask something. Before that, thank you for Sir Aidil for this presentation today. It's a very eye-opener for me because this is my first time I got a dialogue with Majusi priest, a Zoroastrian priest. Like before this, we usually know about Christianity, Jews, and others. So my simple question is there anything that you become priest that you can do, like some what we call when you become priest right now, you cannot do like some things that we call like
No, so right.
like Christianity, like the priest. Okay, there's something that they can do and there's something that cannot do. Is there the Zoroastrian like that too?
Okay, so no, good, very good question. I think this is a very, very good question, right? So it's not like so no, from the food perspective, from the wedding perspective, the priest can get married, just a normal life. They can eat everything what the other people are eating. They can do whatever the other people are doing. But it's a very good question. You know why? Because there are certain priests in India, like for example, I work outside. I work for a company and I do priest part time. But there are some full-time priests, right? There are some full-time priests in India who do 24/7. So their work is only as a priest, right? They don't do any other work, right? And they worship to the God in terms of like they do the boy, right? They do the fire, they do that fire ritual, like doing the boy 5 times a day. So they generally wear white clothes. They will wear the white clothes and the white pagri all the time. So if you are they call it as a boywala. Boywala is like person who is like putting sandalwood to the fire for big fire temples, like not small fire temples, the big Atash Beram, like Iran Shah. They will always be dressed in white with a pagri. So that's one special thing for the full-time priest in Zoroastrianism who does who's taking care of Iran Shah or the big fire temple. They will be dressed in white, dagli, and a pagri.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adib. There is a question by a student asking that what is the Zoroastrian main language?
Avastha. So our prayers are in, they call it an Avastha, what we say. So it's a Persian language. So even if you so when you say main language, what we speak in at home, we would speak Gujarati or English at home for a day-to-day perspective, but the prayers are in the Persian language, Avastha. The book is in, that's why it's called Khorde Avastha. So it's, but of course the transcript can be written in Gujarati or English or whatever language you want from the reading perspective. But the words are Persian words or the Avastha words.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brother Adil. There is another question by a student. She is asking about Zoroastrianism, looking at Zoroastrianism as a monotheistic religion. At the same time, how this change did take place from polytheism, when I look at becomes polytheism from monotheism. At the beginning, she is trying to say that the prophet Zoroaster, known at the early stage, and based on his teaching, was he focusing on monotheism? Then other entities came into existence. So how to, what I understand here, it means like how to maintain the monotheistic point of view without, like you mentioned, that this cow, a special cow, maybe you said worship. Is that worship, or because when it comes to worship, it means that you worship, then you have Ahura Mazda at the same time. So can you clarify a bit this, Adil? I think this is a very important question, because when you look at it from outside perspective, many things will come to our mind, you know, like this case. Can you elaborate a bit, especially to maintain, to give us the right picture about Ahura Mazda being the omnipotent God, as you have mentioned previously, and to get rid of all this, how it is done in Zoroastrianism?
So the concept of God, which I was talking about, is that yes, the God is present everywhere, right? Which that's why I call it as omnipresent, right? And who looks after everything, right? What I think the question is, so the reason monotheism is because basically that's because we believe in one God, right? So Ahura Mazda, which basically in turn is we worship Ahura Mazda through fire. So that's why we call it the monotheism. That's what has been said over last so many years, right?
And what about other elements, Adi, like will that cause any kind of, if we say, deviation from monotheism, if I may say that, you know, or it is just only, like you mentioned, the fire?
No. So the respect to the environment, from the nature perspective, it's fire, the sun, the earth, the water. So basically promoting the all the elements, right, in Zoroastrianism taking place. So fire, fire is one of the medium which we worship through, right? So we worship Ahura Mazda through fire, through sun, earth, water. So that's the medium or the environment which we worship through. Yeah.
Okay, that is good, because as I mentioned before, the question that is asked by our student, when I look at it from the outside perspective, since we have you here, so you can give us that clear picture, like what you mentioned, other elements like mediums to reach Ahura Mazda. That is how you put it according to Zoroastrianism.
Yeah.
Okay,
so those are 5 elements. You can call it elements, right?
Elements, yeah.
Elements.
The pure elements. Okay. Yeah, that is very clear. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There is another question by another student. Why is Zoroastrianism no longer being practiced by the vast majority of people, to the point that some people might not know it still exists? I'm sorry if this question is sensitive. Maybe perhaps when I look at why Zoroastrianism could be, why is very close, you know, could be only for the Zoroastrian people. Maybe that could be how we look at it.
No, good point. I'm happy to talk about it. I know it's a bit sensitive, but I'm happy to talk about it, right? So Zoroastrianism, it's a diminishing religion, I would say, because how would I put it, is like a true blood, right? Something like if you're born in Zoroastrianism, only then you can become a Zoroastrian or a Parsi. You don't convert. So that's one. So we don't convert people from any other religion to Zoroastrianism. So that's one aspect. Second aspect is it's quite strict. Okay, in terms of sometimes if there is a lady marrying to a non-Zoroastrian or non-Parsi, then she's not. Her kids are not allowed to enter Zoroastrian religion, and she's not part of the Zoroastrian religion. So that's a little bit strictness. There are, of course, different chain of thoughts with different people. There are different chain of thoughts with different people, right? So my thinking would be something different, but some people's thinking would be something different. So yes, so that's why you see that because of no conversion policy, and if you're only born in the religion, and if you're married to a Zoroastrian, then your children are Zoroastrian. That's how the the religion progresses. Another thing is that sometimes, you don't, some people don't get married, they don't have kids, so then, that family or that thread then stops, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit sensitive, but yes, that's the reason why we don't expand by converting.
Yeah, you give the right answer. I think that is the right answer. So there is another question here. Is there any? I think you have mentioned this about the specific calendar in Zoroastrianism, like we have in Islam, or special occasions.
So
is about the calendar. I mean, like you mentioned, the New Year start on August.
Yeah. So there's a calendar. So it's called Shenshai calendar. It's a Parsi calendar. So basically, it starts. If you talk about the English calendar compared to English calendar, it will start somewhere in August, mid of August, where our first month starts, right? And then we will have 12 months and 30 days a month, right? So, and we have names for all the 30 days and we have names for all the months. So it will end somewhere early August, but then we have the last 5 days of the year called as Gatas. So those are 5 Gatas we have, and then the new year starts. So we do have a special calendar called a Persian calendar, Parsi calendar, or whatever you call it, Zoroastrian calendar. Just like other religions also would be having, Islam would be having their own calendar, Hindus will be having their own calendar. They call the different months in a different. So so we do have a different calendar. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. That is another question that is asked by one of our students. It is like the student like to know whether about cosmology in Zoroastrianism. That is related to the creation. Perhaps you discussed or you started Ahura Mazda, but you did not talk about the creation. If you don't mind, Adil, can we explain a bit further this?
So when you say creation, you mean what exactly?
I believe that Ahura Mazda, you mentioned about Spentamanyu, let's say, and Angrumanyu that were created by during a period of time by Ahura Mazda, representing good and evil. So I'd like to see the rest, how this creation did take place.
Okay, so basically, then if you're talking about Ahura Mazda, then I think one important thing is to talk about maybe what do I say? We can talk about the helpers of Ahura Mazda, right? The helpers of Ahura Mazda. I was talking about Ameshaspenta, that is Ameshaspenta, Yazatas, Forvarish, right? So we have Beram Ashpendar, who looks after the benefit of animals. Then Adribesh Aspendar looks after the fire and the fire energies of the world. Sherevar Aspendar looks after metal, minerals. Then Aspendar, Ameshaspendar is looks after the earth, teaches the man to think right. Khordad then looks after water. Amardad, Ameshwaspandad looks after trees, plants, vegetation. So this are the Ameshwaspandads, 7 of them, which were created by Ahura Mazda. That's the belief, right? And what else do you want to know?
Like, for example, created the world, man, let's say, or other creatures could be. When I talk about the heavens, you just mentioned some of the, if we say, manifestations, if I can put it like that, and these are created for a purpose, according to what we have discussed now, taking care of different things,
Okay. So from the worldview perspective, like if you say in the beginning of supreme divine energy, or the timeless endless wealth of Aura Mazda, he first created something which we call Asha, right? On that basis, basically, he then created Spenta menu, and then and then I was saying on the law of polarity, angry menu was the evil spirit came into existence. Uh, the creation content from the Pallavi book, again from the Pallavi book, right? And then other Frashodad or Frakoshti, those are some of the other conscious effort or the spiritual beings which was bought by men or the spiritual beings, right? So those are some of the other things which was built. What else can I say is
I think maybe, Brother Dil, I think there is another question. Perhaps this is somehow related, if I may say, is a bit. I don't know how I could say. Maybe might be a bit sensitive to that level, but the student is putting this question forward like this. You said that good is represented by Ahura Mazda, and bad is represented by Angry Manu. Then, however, this also may raise the question: why is Ahura Mazda in battle with Angry Manu if he is all powerful? Why does not he defeat Angry Manu and stop suffering in this world? So, how do you respond this? As I mentioned, Adil, perhaps I don't know how do you feel?
So what our understanding is that Ahura Mazda didn't create it. Angry Menu was on the basis of law of polarity. It came into existence, right? The creations were created. So Ahura Mazda represents the purest light, and he then the Spenti Menu was created to assist the positive spirit. So basically, these are some of the spiritual things, the Angra menu and the Spente menu, which was so Angra menu is always been there, right? It's on the basis of law of polarity, where it's the spirit which came into existence, right?
So it means that it came into existence, then Ahura Mazda did not create. Is that like this, Adil? Is he created by Ahura Mazda, or he just came into existence just like that?
It says on basis of law of polarity. What I've heard is basis on law of polarity, the Angra Menu's spirit came into existence, right? The creations were created from the endless light, which were made from the different grades, caused by different grades. And Ahura Mazda represents the purest light, that the divine beings in their hierarchical order, and then the material creations.
Okay, I think that is great. I mean, now it is very clear, the picture. That's why the student asked this question, like, that is the reason that we have these two opposing forces, if I say that. And at the end, Ahura Mazda is going to take over. That is how it goes. Okay.
And just to add, the cosmology gives the religious view a beginning of the creations, right? Now,
yes.
Now, in the beginning, the supreme divine energy, or whatever you call, right? That's about the creation that came from that good creation, which was came to known as Mazda, right? And then later it was the title came as Aura as a part of the name, and it was referred as Aura Mazda. So the good creation or the supreme energy divine is known as from the Aura Mazda.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, you know, our students are very eager to know in details. Perhaps this will not disturb you, Brother Adil, but we are very thankful that you are very patient and even answering the questions
No problem.
in a very good manner. So we appreciate that. There is another question by another student. He would like to know whether there is any kind of denomination in Zoroastrianism, or do we have like any other denomination, or they follow only one?
So denomination, if I am correct, when you say denomination, you mean okay. So denominations, so in simple language, if I have to put it, there will be one denomination will be a priest class, maybe. Then one denomination will be maybe a business class or others, right? So when there are prayers done, so like if Farmayashni is the person who is requesting the prayers, right? So for example, when I say Farmayashni means I'm doing a prayer for my father and I'm doing it. So in front of my name, it will be Edward Adil because I am a priest, right? In front of somebody else's name, if he's not a priest, it could be Osta or Bedin or some other. Osta is someone who comes from the priest family but is not become a priest, not done Navar. So it's called Osta. Osti is for the lady. Edward is for the person who has become the priest. Bedin is for the person who is not from the priest family and has of course not done his Navar. So there will be the denominations when you say the prayers in front of their name, those words given to them. If that's the question, then yes, that's how it's done.
That might be one way. They like maybe to make it simple, like when we have in Christianity, we have the Catholic Church, then we have the Orthodox Church, then we have.
No.
So there is only one, like we said, that you follow the Orthodox teaching, or they say the straight teaching of Zoroaster as a prophet.
Yeah, so there's nothing like different fire temples. Of course, there is a category of fire temples. So there is called Atash Beram is one of the bigger fire temples. Then Atash Adiran and Atash Dadgat. So Atash Dadgat can be a small fire temple where the so you know it depends upon the size of the fire temples and from where the fire is got from, right? If it's got directly from Iran, that fire, then it's to the Atash Berams, and then from Atash Berams, that fire is given to others is Atash Adiran, and then Atash Adiran to Atash Dadka. So that's but they all are same, right? Means the type of prayers you do, type of people go everywhere. It's same. It depends upon how close is the fire temple to the house sometimes, right?
So it means that they follow only one strict way.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that is understood. Thank you very much. Another question would be like, especially today, since you are representing the small Zoroastrian community in Singapore, so it will be very, important for our students when we are talking about the relationship of this community with outsiders. And that is like how this will help them when I look at the way they believe in Ahura Mazda, how this will motivate them to act righteously, like you mentioned, the three things, that they have good thoughts, good actions, that these are
related. Good words, good deeds, right? So that's a simple...
so how do they present this? The question is like this, brother. How do they present they believe in Ahura Mazda in their relationship with others? Like you say that your neighbor will be maybe perhaps in Singapore you'll be living and your neighbor might be a Muslim, a Hindu, a Christian, or an atheist. So how that, based on the teachings of Zoroastrianism, how they are supposed to engage with others?
I think it's for all the religions the same, right? That you just have to be a good human being, a good person, and that's what all religion teaches you, right? And we talk about behaving nicely, good thought, good words, good deeds. I think it's. I don't think it's anything to do with a Zoroastrian religion. Like I believe that from a religion perspective, all religion great, all equal. It's just you need to have some kind of path to follow, and and that's how the concept of religion was born, actually, right? So that's but from a religion, what you it's a duty, right? It's an obligation, it's a duty, not just think about yourself but also think about others, which reflects in Zoroastrian religion as well, in a concept of called spenta. Again, I was mentioning to you. So that's
Well, brother, to make it simple, will there be like, because in every religion, as you mentioned, yes, we have this, but when it comes to Zoroastrianism, if someone doesn't act righteously, what will be the consequences, the result, It is like your neighbor. If you don't respect your neighbor, if you don't be nice to him, according to Zoroastrianism, what will be, let's say, is there any kind of warning or any kind of accountability, let's say, in front of Ahura Mazda?
Basically, the three main aspects is you have to be from the ethics, you have to be from the goodness perspective, teachings, and practice, right? Based on the teachings, which any to drive any practical benefits from the religion, or based on the teachings which Ahura Mazda has said. Now, now this, I don't know. This question is a little bit like if of course, if you don't perform from like for example, if you're saying if you're not following the religion, it's a separate thing, right? Not following
Yes.
the religion.
Yes.
So it's upon the individual, right, whether he wants to follow the religion or not to follow the religion, right? And the reason why you need the religion is to, of course, create the identity, your self-pride, your courage, whatever you need it for, right? And if there is no belief, there is no faith, then it's a separate matter. It's a person-to-person thing, right?
Okay. There is another interesting question here. I think this perhaps would like to know the. There is, I have learned, I mean, the student is putting the question like this, that for the wedding ceremony, the bride needs to hold a small wick lamp from her house to the new house on the way to her new home, and the lamp needs to be burning all the night. But what happens if the lamp is broken or damaged? Does it affect, let's say, the wedding, or is that any kind of how do they feel? Let's say they have to carry the lamp, should be on until to the new house. Like suddenly it broke, for example. It is broken on the way. Is there any problem with that? Would that cause any problem, or how do they react to this?
Now it's a fate. Now it's a fate, right? Now
yes. There is
a lot of yeah, so some people think, like, to be honest, some people think if something happens, then it's called as how they call it, inauspicious or a bad luck. But then it's again, I would say it's up to people. It's if there are some external consequences or something which happens, you can't, like, we live in a practical world as well, right? So as much as I would like to be religious, but we all have to be practical at some point of time, right? And not get too emotionally attached to this. So
no, but brother, the student would like to know, like they said, this will bring like a kind of light. That is how the light, the fire denotes light, and this will bring light to the new home, and this will be like they will get a blessing for the establishment of new home. The student said that if suddenly the lamp will be broken on the way, with that this kind of will be broken, or this will continue. It doesn't affect this too much, let's say.
My personal opinion is that it should not affect too much. Like it's a different opinion for different people, right? Like, and this are I would say these are some of the customs which are done, right? Which have been common from traditionals from generations to generation, right? But that's what I'm saying. It's a thin line between practical and customary thing, right? I would suggest that okay, just go start it again. Yeah.
There is, oh, thank you very much. There is another question here. Perhaps you touched a bit this, but maybe the student would like to know more, maybe clarification. If there is someone who wants to embrace Zoroastrianism, is there any special event should be done in order to acknowledge the new Zoroastrian? If let's say he's coming, then he's allowed to become Zoroastrian. Is there any special event for that?
So Naujat ceremony is the event when you enter the Zoroastrian religion, which I was telling about, right? So Naujat ceremony is the event, but generally, as I was telling, that Zoroastrianism, we don't do Naujat ceremonies for people not born in the Zoroastrian religion. So that's the. You cannot become a Zoroastrian unless you are born as a Zoroastrian.
Okay, thank you very much. There is another question that the student is saying that if the scripture is written in a Western language, so it is compulsory for all the followers nowadays to learn a Western language in order to be capable to read it. Is that compulsory or how?
So a Western language is, the script is written in English, right? So I would say that, so there are Akorde Avasta book which are written in English. The script is in English or Gujarati or different languages, right? So you are reading it in English, but the words are pronounced in Avestan language. So it's not compulsory for a person to learn the Avestan language. What you're reading is from an English book, which the words are Avestan words, like just like I think Malay, right? You can write it in English, right? But
yes.
The word like will be Salamat Pagi will be like good morning, or whatever, right? So those words will mean different. So it's similar, right? You write it in English, but the words are Avestan.
But that is a good. I'd like to add to this, since of course you are the priest. So is that compulsory for the priest to learn the language, to read the text, the original text?
Original text is again no. The priest also either reads it in Gujarati or English. The text, right? Not compulsory for him to learn that Avestan language as such. But the priest will have a lot of prayers when they do this. A full-time priest will know all the prayers by heart, right? He won't refer to the book. Every now and then he will refer for some other prayers, but he will have most of the prayers on his fingertips, right? He would do a long prayers, maybe a two hours ritual without referring to a script or a book. So they go through, so we call that a madrasa, right? So we have a madrasa where our young kids, like my cousins and all, have gone through madrasa. They were there for the whole childhood, right? Where they learned the prayers and of course also learned other school related work. But they are trained to be the priest full time. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Adil. I think that is great. So you have answered all the questions. So until now, I don't have, unless there is any student who would like to ask any question directly. Maybe that will be the last question, because the time is very near to 12 o'clock. So we have just limited for 2 hours. If any one of you would like to ask another question, you are welcomed. And if there is any other question, then we just...
Sir, I have a question.
Okay, Sister Noelia, please.
As I learned before, as when people of Zoroastrianism died, they will serve at Tower of Silence, right?
Yes, yes.
Right, right.
So I want to know that if can the family of the dead person come to visit their family at the Tower of Silence? That's
Okay, okay, okay.
Sorry, so family
Yeah,
of the
Brother, she said that when the body is put in the Tower of Silence, later on the family members, are they allowed to come and visit?
yeah. So this is a very, very good and important question, right?
Yes, yes,
So, so,
indeed.
so, so when I say Tower of Silence, there is a thing called Dakma, right? And there are people known as Kandhyas. Now, Kandhyas are the people who will actually
Correct.
carry the body, like 4 people carry the body and put it in the Dakma of the Tower of Silence. So that will they will and what Zoroastrians believe is to decompose, right? So the sunlight will come and decompose. Of course, later on in India now there are vultures who will come and eat the eat. So that's one process, right? But no, after a certain point there is a gate, and after a certain point no person is allowed to go in other than the Kandhyas or the people who will go and put the body out there. No other person, not even the priest, not even the family member. We can go to a certain point where there is a gate, and after the gate, when they go in, nobody is allowed to go in.
Okay, it's very clear. It's very clear. So, if I may say, Brother Adil, like you mentioned that previously, that at the end of the year they have this Fravashi celebration. So it
Muktad,
means
yeah.
that, so
Muktad.
that is how they it is like how they feel the presence of those
They
people who
remember.
left them.
They remember. They think the
Mm.
belief is that the souls will come down during those last 5-10 days, and they will provide the blessings, and we will celebrate that. And then on the last day of the just before the new year starts, because our new year will start after sunrise, right? So it's not like 12 o'clock in the night, because 12 o'clock to the sunrise is the last gay, right? The ocean gay. So it will start after sunrise. So that's where we believe that all the parvarish, all the souls will then go up to the heaven again.
Yeah, I think. Thank you very much. I think we have achieved our aim for today's talk.
Okay.
So we appreciate very much, Brother Adil, and on behalf of our department, the Kulia, as well as university, would like to thank you very much.
Oh, pleasure.
Dr. Nu put it earlier, said that this is not the first and the last. So we are going to continue and to strengthen our relationship with you and the community there in Singapore. Who knows later on if this COVID-19 will be able to visit each other physically.
Sure.
So maybe next time you have to prepare yourself. We need maybe the focus will be more on one particular issue. So that will be the second round, the third round. This is what we are doing, Brother Adir. So we are very thankful and we appreciate very much your contribution indeed. Today's lecture, it was very open-eyed lecture for us, for our students. They have gotten a knowledge from a person who is practicing and teaching this religion as well. Is not like the same, like we do not belong to that religion, but we teach the religion. So I think this is a good experience for our students as well. So with that, I appreciate very much. So
Thank you.
I'll share with you later on the video. I'll share with you. Then we'll keep in touch. So at the same time, as I mentioned at the beginning, would like to thank very much the association, Zoroastrian Parsi Association of Singapore, and especially Mr. Hoshi, who introduced you to us. So we appreciate. And maybe other students would like to know how we came to know this community. It is because of one of our students. She did her master's degree and she wrote about Zoroastrian community in Singapore. I was very much impressed with her contribution and the help that she got from the community itself. We appreciate very much. So with that, usually, Brother Dil, when we close, we Muslims, perhaps this will not be a kind of offend towards you, because usually we recite certain verses from the Quran when we close silently. We do that. So let us close by reciting Surah Al-Asr, Tasbih Kafara. Yeah, thank you very much, and Assalamu alaikum. Have a nice day, Brother Adil. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye.
Welcome.